Hi, this is Gary Kayye. We're in Denver, Colorado at the PSA's Tech 2021 show. And this is actually the first, as you know, the first live event. Over 300 people here live, and I'm here with the outgoing CEO, Bill Bozeman. First off, congratulations on having the first live event since all this pandemic started.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. You know, it was a roll of the dice. There was more people telling us not to do it than telling us to do it. So we took a chance, and it really paid off.
Yeah, and in fact, everyone I've talked to has been, hey, I've had the vaccine. Hey, I've had the vaccine. I'm okay. Yeah. So I think it's been, and I'd say more than half the people have masks on. The other half feel comfortable like you without the mask on, which is a good sign for the industry. I think we're at a tipping point, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. It's going to be interesting to see the new, live events, how they play out. But we actually doubled our initial, our initial head count. So the demand was actually better than we anticipated. So that's a good thing. We still had a virtual participation, which was larger than face-to-face, but nonetheless, it's doubled what we thought.
Well, PSA has been around for 50 years, 50th anniversary this year. You ran PSA for 21 years, something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. 20 years.
20 years. And before that, we're an integrator. So you've seen a lot of changes over the years. Right now, this movement towards putting everything on the network has a lot of momentum behind it. But if you reflected on your 36 total years in the industry, where were the earmarks of change, or were the monuments of change over that time?
Yeah, it really is 41 years. So what, 1979. 41 years. The network, right? Of course, there was no network when I got in. Everything was standalone. Everything was closed. Now everything is open. That's the last session I attended was all about that, and as it relates to cybersecurity. So, yeah, that's the big change. And the next big change, and I think in this case, the security business might be a step ahead of the Pro AV business. We have, PSA has over 20 managed services manufacturing offerings. I say 6 months from now, we'll have 30. So managed services is the next big step. And of course, that's powered by being on the network. So all tied in together.
Yeah, you're right. And in fact, I can only name 2 or 3 in the entire AV industry. And speaking of the AV side, so you joined forces, however it was worded back then with US AV, which brought AV into security, but is also bringing security into AV. How is that going?
It's going, we haven't seen Pro AV integrators say, oh great, I'm going to become a professional security. Yeah. And we haven't seen the security guys say, oh great, I'm going to be, but what we have seen is an awful lot of alliances on projects working together, especially in command and control centers, because the AV guys, quite frankly, are a lot better than that, than the security guys. Security guys are security monitors. The AV guys really know AV. So we've seen a lot of synergy there, but both groups are still independent, Gary. They're independent management team, independent P&L, and PSA just has the infrastructure in place to support USAV that USAV didn't have before.
Yeah, and in fact, if you're not a member of PSA or USAV, you should become one. We are shooting videos at this entire event. We'll probably end up with somewhere between 75 and 100 videos. You can go see them all at raypubs.com/PSA TEC. Bill Bozeman's the outgoing CEO. Bill, so first off, what are you going to do now? You're flying back to New Orleans. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, probably a lot of private equity work. So I like the finance part of the business a lot, and that's really what I've focused on in PSA over the last 4 or 5 years. So that's where I'll go. And Gary, there's a lot of money out there. I don't know how long this is going to last, but it sure is good now. So, we'll look, obviously focus on the security side, but as well as the Pro AV side. I talked to a private equity guy this morning. Says, "What's your thoughts on Pro AV?" Yeah. So that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. So we'll have to kind of see where you reappear, but I have a feeling we're going to see you at Infocomm. By the way, what do you think about Infocomm in October? Do you think it'll happen?
Yeah, I do. Good. I think now it may not be the way it was before, but I sure hope so.
Yeah, I do too.
I sure hope so. Yeah. And I do think it will.
Now, if you were able to go over to Europe to the ISE events, would you go? I mean, right now we can't go because of...
Yeah. If we could and vaccinations were in place, yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And especially, I was even a little bit doubtful till I came here. Once I'm here, I see this. This is more back to normal than I thought it was going to be. Don't you think? Aren't there more people than you thought there were going to be? hanging out together?
I think this is a one-time opportunity. PSA we got lucky with this, and I think a lot of people are just, quite frankly, just happy to be here and see people. I think it proves a point about networking, the ability to actually see someone. Zoom is great. There's a lot of fatigue, though. There's a lot of fatigue. So, good timing. But I'm hoping Infocomm does have their business. I'm hoping ISC has theirs and is successful, because I just think overall it's good for business. Yeah,
I agree with you. And I think that, like you said about networking, people wanted to actually have face-to-face conversations. And that's what I've seen a lot of people do, in addition to your education. The education is a big component here at TEC, and it's been that way for many, many years. But what I'm surprised about is how much, personalization and camaraderie exists in these educational courses, where competitive companies are sharing ideas with each other. That's kind of unique that you have that kind of relationship with the integrators that are members.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's really, the education and networking is how PSA started. And over the years, each decade, it evolves. But I'd say for the first 25 years, that was it. Yeah. It was education and events like this and networking. Then the products came, and then all the committees came, and everything else came, and AV came. Yeah. That's actually our latest metamorphosis, where we're in the pro AV business. So, but yes, we had better be good at that. That's our core competency.
Yeah. And of course, if you're not a member of PSA, you should consider it. If you're not a member of USAV, you should definitely, especially those that are watching on the AV side, you're going to see them at Infocomm, as well as other events that are coming up. The Almo E4 show, they'll be up at Bill Bozeman. We're not sure exactly what he's going to do, but he's made it clear he's not getting out of the industry. He's definitely stepping down as CEO of PSA. Congratulations on what you've built here. I mean, in the time that I've been in the industry, I've been in the industry for almost 30 years now, and I know that I've heard about PSA all the way through this, and the growth and what you've done is remarkable. I was really excited about what you did with USAV. So congratulations. I think you brought this organization to a level that few could have done. So congratulations on that. Thanks for watching everything. If you want to see all of our coverage here, go to raypubs.com/PSATEC.